Hello and welcome to the 60-second episode of the Gochuucast. We goofed a little, and by me I mean
Yo,
I.
don't say that.
This
Don't
is
say that.
definitely our first time.
Yes, we did.
Doing this intro.
I pride myself in knowing that at least I check on it sometimes. So we've never gone more than like a few minutes without realizing that the audio is just not recording. But there's gonna be one day we record a whole episode, and it's gonna be the most draining thing ever to.
It's always
That would
we
be
get
traumatizing.
one solid topic in. I feel like that's what happens. We always get one solid topic in, and then we go to move on. And as we're moving on, we'll like start the next conversation, and Daniel will just be like, "Oops."
Teehee.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll go on the spark notes of what we were talking about. We went to AX. We're back now. It's been like 3 weeks since we last recorded, so we have an abundance of things. But yeah, we went to AX. The trigger panel, it's what we talked about first, which announced new Gurren Lagann, new panty stocking, and we got to watch Dungeon Meshi considerably early. The first episode, anyway.
Yep. Now I have to like rethink everything we said.
Yeah, speaking of Dungeon
My
Meshi,
first
though,
question was, it was subbed, right? Like, they didn't just show you the Japanese, like...
No, it was.
Yeah, it was subbed.
Okay, good. They didn't just show you the Japanese thing without subtitles.
It wouldn't show the raw at fucking...
I mean, you never know.
Funny.
It would be really... I may as well have been watching the raw, because I couldn't see the fucking subtitles from where I was sitting.
Okay, yeah, there you go.
That is true. Our seats for it were kind of...
My seat would have been fine, but the fucking sign that says no photography was blocking the subs perfectly. And then over to my left, I couldn't, and then the stage thing where they have the camera was in front of the middle stage. And then the one to the left was just blocked by people. I'm like, well, god dang it. And we didn't sit far back enough to have the one on the ceiling. So it was just fucked.
The was like the third panel that we went to during the whole thing, and I learned a lot from the trigger panel in terms of where you should and shouldn't sit.
Yes.
For these panels. Everything else I watched, I had great seats for, but the Dungeon Meshi seats that we had were not the best.
We had because we moved after Eminence. We had not great seats, but we just had a view of like the top, like the ceiling middle, what's it called? And that was good enough.
We had objectively bad Eminence seats, but we had a clear path to the screen.
Yes, which made it better than the seats that we moved up to.
Yes,
thinking they would be better.
Seats were fine, except for when they started showing it, and we realized, oh, we're like potentially in the worst seats for actually watching the screens.
Yeah, it was rough, but the Fate seats we had were definitely the best that we could possibly get.
Yeah, I had to sacrifice a lot to get those Fate seats. So, essentially, the main stage room didn't clear at the end of any of the panels, which meant if I just wanted to stay in that room all day, I could just stay in that room all day. And so I did stay in that room all day, starting from when we barely made it into Eminence. Like, literally, we missed everything for the Eminence premiere except the episode.
Yeah.
Because they had like the little talks with the VAs and all of that. We didn't get to see any of that, but we got in just in time to watch the episode. And from that moment, we realized the lines here are kind of a pain. So, me, who the Fate premiere was probably the number one thing I wanted to see the most during all of AX, was like, you know what? The panels for the day aren't that bad in this room. I'm just going to stay here all day and steadily move up to good seats.
Yeah, I cheated a little bit. I left after the trigger panel and I went to go do shit. And then I came back and made it into the Spy Family panel, and then they saved me seats at the front.
Yeah, we did save a few seats that we could. We ended up, I think, for the Spy Family and the Fate panel, because in between Trigger and Spy Family was this Netflix panel where it's talking about like all the anime Netflix stuff and things like that. Nobody went to that shit. The panel was actually kind of hype, honestly. I was glad I went to the panel. I had fun. They showed off the trailer for Pluto, which is going to be a Netflix anime, which is just the Astro Boy I don't know how to exactly describe the relationship between Pluto and Astro Boy. It's essentially just
Oh,
an
Astro Boy,
Astro
that guy.
Boy.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's it's basically Astro Boy, but it's like an inspired by, but practically the same story type of situation. Um,
Bro, this dude needs a
in terms
shirt.
of like
What the
setup,
fuck is this guy doing?
but it was actually a really good panel. But nobody went there, so during that panel, Resh and I were able to get up to like the 7th row, like right
Did
in
they
front
just
of the
announce like
stage.
exclusives, Netflix exclusive stuff?
Yeah, it was stuff like that. They talked about the Pokemon little like claymation thing that they're gonna do, and they
Wait,
had
what is that? I'm curious.
so what was it called again? It's basically a Pokemon like resort, and it's about this girl who is
Okay.
it's Pokemon
Concierge. Okay.
Concierge. Yes, you
Pokemon
got it.
Concierge.
It's this girl who is like the front desk of the resort with her partner Psyduck, and it's done entirely through like little claymation. I don't
That's
know if
so
they're clay.
cute. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
It's stop motion. It's like so much effort
Oh my god.
to
This
do
reminds me
like
of
a
like old YouTube
single.
videos. This was like
Yeah,
a yeah. That's so cool. That's actually
and
oh my god, this is awesome.
yeah, it's actually really hype.
I'm gonna
They
watch it. I'm
had
actually gonna
they
watch it.
had the voice
It's awesome.
actress for it and everything. I didn't know this existed, and they were talking about it though, and gave us some information. We saw like a little mini teaser. It wasn't quite a trailer. They call it a trailer. It's linked on the page, but
Mhm.
it was really cute. They talked about Pluto. I don't remember what else they talked about. I think it was Beastar final season is Netflix. That might have been the other thing they talked about.
Yeah, it would be Netflix. Yeah.
But it was good. It was a good panel, and it was a great opportunity to get good seats for Spy Family and Fate. Not too much to say about the Spy Family panel. It was a lot of fun, but it's not. There wasn't anything like crazy in it. They
Yeah,
had
they
Lloyd BA there, and we found out he is a raging alcoholic,
he is an
and it was
absolute
hilarious.
raging alcoholic.
It was crazy. They would ask him any question, and they'd be like, "What would you do in this situation?" He'd be like, "Crack open a beer with the boys," and
Classic.
then move on. It was so Chad.
Yeah, they
But
asked him the best way to like consume peanuts, and he said with whiskey. It's like, okay,
I mean,
dude.
fair enough.
yeah, it was great. And I guess finishing off that day was the Fate premiere, which was good. And I assume
Yes.
most people here who care about Fate have already watched it. But what we didn't know was going to happen during the Fate premiere, although it was like in the dreams of most Fate fans watching it, is we didn't know that the TV anime was going to get confirmed. And that
Yes.
was the first like really big announcement of AX for at least me and most of our friends, was getting the Fate anime adaptation of Strange Fate confirmed with no knowledge that it was going to be confirmed. And they had like the cute little promo that they have of Saber and the main character trying to hitchhike, and it was fun.
Yeah, it was definitely unexpected. I would have thought of like there had been like some hints from like the leakers, but no, just made it completely
Yeah.
unscathed.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing anything hinting at it other than just like Copium. I hope they announce it because it's in everyone's head when you're at the premiere, right?
And it makes sense because like it's been like a prologue type of. It'd make no sense to just do a prologue for no reason.
Yeah, it's an hour special of essentially the prologue for this series that a lot of people like. Like this is one of the more popular Fate series
Yeah.
for several reasons. So it like made a lot of sense for it to get announced, but we still didn't know that it would be announced, right? And that made it all the more exciting. And that was pretty much day one. Dana and I went to the Project Sekai panel earlier in the
Yeah,
day.
wasn't too much.
It's just the voice actors and
yeah,
stuff.
the voice actors were fun, but other than that, there wasn't really much of anything.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. The voice actors were cute, and they did like little Q&As and read throughs and stuff like that. Obviously, there wasn't anything to announce, but it was still a lot of fun.
Yeah, day two was kind of like, man, I don't even remember what I did day two, to be honest. I think I first went to the Tonikaku thing, and I got to watch the first 2 episodes of the new OVAs. So that was cool.
Day 2 was like my exploration day for the most
I
part.
don't remember what I did after that, honestly.
Well, I went to the fake grand. Didn't you go home?
Uh,
'Cause-
I think
Or
I
no?
walked around Exhibit Alley a bit, and then I want to say I did one more thing, but I might be crazy. I definitely didn't do anything later in the day.
Yeah, because I spent most of the day walking around and doing stuff like that, and then I went to the FGO panel with Rie Takahashi
Yeah.
and
After
Saber's
the
voice actress, and also one of the guys from the second act of the game. His voice actor was also there.
after the Fate strange fake premiere and listened to you on the bus ride home with Mars, and I decided very much I did not want to go to this FGO panel. Rie Takahashi was not worth my brain on the bus ride back. So I went home, or I went to the hotel and I took a nap. It was a great nap, though.
Yeah,
And I watched
but
some seasonals, which we might talk about later in the episode.
yeah, because I think I haven't caught up on all of my seasonals yet, because today was the big seasonal day for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I have watched a chunk of them today. But yeah, so day 2 we kind of chilled. I went to the FGO panel eventually. Nothing too crazy happened. Well, I take that back. One really crazy thing happened at the FGO panel, but it wasn't about FGO, because the panel, I call it the FGO panel, but it was all Type Moon projects. So FGO didn't have anything crazy because we knew what was going to happen in the next, X amount of time of the global version of FGO.
Mm-hmm.
But what did get announced at FGO slash Type Moon panel was a English localization of Tsukihime.
Yeah. Which,
And
the
that,
visual novel.
yes,
Oh, okay.
it was one of those things that we knew was going to come eventually. Well, maybe that's not the right way to say it. Everyone thought it should come eventually, I guess is how I would say it. But we didn't necessarily know that we would get an English localization. But it was on anyone who likes Type Moon, pretty much like a huge wish list item.
Yeah, but day 2,
So
relatively uneventful, I guess, in the grand scheme of things. Day 3, uh, started it
day
with...
3.
I went to... Well, I guess you went to, but you left, like during the, what's it called, the talking portion. The Rurouni Kenshin remake premiere. Which I got to see Rie Takahashi, so it was fine that I skipped out on FGO.
Yep. And the first episode of Rurouni Kenshin was pretty good. My understanding is it was pretty much beat for beat the same as the first episode of the old, like the original Rurouni Kenshin, which makes sense.
Something that you missed after you left, actually. Rie Takahashi leaked that episode 7's apparently supposed to go crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good to know. Yeah, so while they were finishing the Rurouni Kenshin, we didn't really know what some of the other panel sites were going to be looking like, and at 11:30 there was a Bushi Road panel that me and Toshi wanted to make, so we dipped about halfway through the Rurouni Kenshin panel to go to Bushi Road. In the end, we didn't really need to do that, but we got really good seats in that room, which comes up important later. But Bushiro panel was good. I don't know if it was worth missing the second half of the Rurouni Kenshin with Rie Takahashi and the main character voice actor, who I don't know because I know like 3 voice actors. um, I don't know if it was worth missing all that for us to get there early, but we did end up getting phenomenal seats, and that was important because I wanted to stay in that room all day, because every panel I wanted was in that room, so I had no reason to leave.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly when I came, but I made it there for the character designing thing, which could have been more cool, but the translator there, the interpreter, kind of sucked.
Yeah, I got the sense the guy
He seemed
that,
chill.
like, the designer was really chill, but we had a kind of bad host and a really bad translator, and so a good portion of it was Q&A and stuff like that, and it just like did not link up. And it was unfortunate because the guy seemed really chill, but questions would be asked and then he would answer like completely off topic things because he was just asked a completely different question.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
it was really scuffed.
it was pretty rough. The
I felt bad for the host in the second half because he wasn't very aware of it in the first half, but then when the Q&A started,
he was trying really hard to like
he was
help,
trying.
but it just wasn't working. I think the only like decent, there were some like decent interpreters, but I think the only like one I would say was actually like good was the Rona Kitchen one. He was really good.
Yeah, that's fair. The Fate ones were good, I think. FGO obviously needed to have like 3 translators because there were multiple voice actors there. But yeah, so we stayed in that room, saw the character illustrator, designer. He did like a bunch of the Fire Emblems, a few Pokemon and stuff like that. It was pretty cool.
And then the
Yama
Yamada panel.
999 panel, which was hilarious.
Loud, very loud.
It was very loud. They had the voice actor for Yamada come, and so many cheers, so many girls just going crazy for this dude. He was absolutely hilarious.
Yeah. English dub announced. The
Yeah,
big
they
bro
did
moment.
announce the English dub, which was funny.
I didn't think it'd be a season 2 because like the lack of content versus how much had been adapted. Like they have enough for another season, but
Yeah, they could season 2, but it would be rushing it a little to take like a really long break. Whereas, and I think if they take a couple seasons to chill and then make a season 2, then they won't have to wait like 3 years for a season 3.
yeah.
It's also like season 1 ended in a very satisfying place.
Yeah, like you can wait.
Everyone certainly wants season 2, but like season 1, pretty much all of the arcs are like complete. Like there's nothing that you're left at the end of season 1 wondering like, well, what the hell happened with this?
Yeah. Season 2 will be good though. I read through the manga one night because I was bored. I read through it. So
What was also fun is spoilers. Immediately following the Yamada panel was the premiere of the newest Rascal movie,
yes,
the Bunny Girl Senpai
it's very very good movie.
And what was fun about this is that the room filled before the Yamada panel.
Oh yeah.
The room was completely full like 2.5 hours before the Bunny Girl movie, which I knew was going to happen. I was so
people
sure.
getting there early just to make sure that they can see it.
Yeah.
It was people getting there early, and so that's one of the reasons why I was just hanging out there. And we were telling people like, you want to be here at least before Yamada, if not, for the panel before with the Nintendo designer. And so most of our group got there during the Nintendo designer. And like I said, we had phenomenal seats, perhaps too good of seats. Going back a few rows might have been a better experience.
I wanted to make sure I could read the fucking subtitles, so I was completely fine sitting where we were.
Yeah, we had front row seats, and unfortunately directly in front of the speaker, which wasn't important too many times. There was 1 or 2 moments during the movie where something really loud would happen and it would just like break our ears.
What the heck?
There was a song that played in the movie and it was loud, very loud.
Yeah, we had quite literally the closest seats you could to the screen for the Bunny Girl movie, and not knowing anything about the movie coming in, it was really good.
Yeah, it was a decent beforehand with the panel as well. They brought out Cloverworks president and stuff. He got to hear the Bocchi the Rock chants when they were showing stuff Cloverworks had done. That was funny. But yeah, that was day 3, and then day 4 we didn't really go. I think they went in, PK, a little bit more of our group went in to look around one last little time, but I didn't go. We just kind of chilled for the day basically. But it was a good Good old experience. I don't think I'd ever do it again though. Way too many people there. Like way too many.
Yeah, for sure. Like, how bad were the lines? Was it like just in general like insane, or like was it? Did it depend on the day? I guess like later on. It
Day
probably
1 and 2 were on the weekend, and it's the
Yeah.
first couple days, so
Okay,
they
yeah,
were
sure.
they were really bad. Day 3 was much more manageable.
Nice.
But yeah, so, like we lined up at like we got in line at like 8, I think, the first day, and we didn't get into the thing until like 9:30 probably.
That's crazy.
Which isn't
Well,
it's not terrible.
yeah, it's not, like, awful,
They opened at 9. But I think they might have started to let people in a little bit earlier, maybe. But yeah, I mean, it was long. Like we were going around like an entire like block basically. It's a big convention center, so the line was wrapped a fair amount. But
makes sense.
yeah, day 2 was easier because the first panel I went to was like in one of the outside buildings they were using, and so it was actually really easy to get in there. And which meant it was even easier to get into the convention center afterward because people had already gone in. So that was cool.
That's good.
Yeah.
You guys got a lot of merch, right? I assume. Brought some back with you.
I didn't get a ton, but like let me post. I can throw the pictures in our chat. But I got technically, I guess, a couple figures, but I had to order one online because it was only on display at the thing. But I got this fucking, and then I got went to like a bookstore where I got one manga and then like an illustration book, and then all right, should be sent in a second.
Big picture.
Yeah, but the Rem
Nice.
figure with the penguin outfit had to order online, but I like penguins and I don't have any ReZero figures, so I figured why not. Then I got Goodbye Area, which is a one-shot manga from the author of Chainsaw Man, which I read a couple nights ago. It was really good. Then got a Gochuucast illustration book. Got
Nice.
a couple Pokemon plushes just to throw on the shelf. I wanted a Piplup or an Empoleon, but the Piplup that they had there was there's one that was way too small, and there's one that was really big, but it was $150. I wasn't gonna spend.
Nice. That's short change, bro.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna be spending 150 buckaroos on anything. And then there was an Empoleon that was way too small, and then there was one that was decent size, but it looked like I don't know, like Empoleon, like we have Empoleon at home type of thing. Where it was.
So these weren't official ones, are
Well,
they?
these are official.
Oh, they are? Okay, so
but
they are official.
one of the
They're not
Empoleons I found, I don't think was official because that thing looked like absolute dog shit.
It was really hard to tell which things were and weren't official when going through everything. Like most of the merch I got was not from the vendors in the back, which would be more of like the random people just holding up a shop.
Yeah.
A lot of what I got was just the official. Like I went to the Aniplex merch section and got like a couple plushes and stuff like that.
Yeah, I never went to the Aniplex line because that shit was really long.
Aniplex line was crazy, but I did get a little stuffed foe from FGO, which is the little tiny dog-like character. I don't know how really to describe it. It's just a cute little animal.
I see.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, there was a Katakoa thing, but all their shit was really expensive, so I didn't get it. Like I was tempted to get like there's like a frame of like the ReZero Season 3 announcement thing with like the light novel artist like depiction with all the characters, which would be cool to hang up, but it was also $250 dollars, so I wouldn't be I did not want to spend that much on one thing. That
Yeah,
would
I don't think there's any single thing I spent too much on. I got a few Bandori hoodies and they were like 65 each. But that's the most expensive thing I can think of. Other than there is a Pokemon card pack that a few of us split the cost of, but I took the brunt of it. So
yeah,
technically that was more, but I got paid back for a portion of it.
I think I spent probably almost like more on food than I did like
I would think
merch
that.
because
We had some nice dips.
we had
also.
very expensive
Yeah, I mean, it's
dinners.
LA. You gotta have some good food.
Yeah, it was rather expensive. Korean barbecue is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Korean barbecue was a good experience. I thought the food was good.
Wait, was it your first time?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. Yeah.
It was very good though, and luckily I had Drew as my chef, and he was very good.
Yeah. Oh, Drew. Yeah.
Yeah,
He knew what he was
I had
doing.
Walter as my chef, and it was comedy. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, your side of the table was like an absolute like straight up tragedy.
We were having a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And it was like funny to watch. But it definitely was different from looking next to us and seeing Drew on your side just like chefing it up and getting everything out.
Yeah, he was like he made the night for like my first Korean barbecue, and then the last day we went to a Brazilian steakhouse, and expensive, but it was very good.
I love Brazilian steakhouses, but and it was funny because I was trying to make it this big competition of like who would last the longest, and eventually they just stopped serving us food. It wasn't even like they stopped serving us food because we ate a ton. It was mostly we just went through all 16 of the different meats, and they ran like one or two more things past us, and I think they were getting ready to close soon, potentially, but they
I
just
also
eventually
think
stopped.
like there's a time limit on our thing, right?
Maybe. I don't know.
I think
sure,
there was like
possible.
a hour and a half, 2 hour limit or something like that.
Korean barbecue had a 2 hour.
Yeah, they had a 2 hour limit.
Yeah,
it would make sense. I don't know how long we were there. So it is possible we just ran past the time limit. But yeah, eventually they stopped getting us stuff, which was fine. I was like, no one's
wasn't all
mad
you
that
can
we're
eat
not
though,
getting
right?
more
Like
food.
most places are, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, like I definitely eat. I was ready to test my limits, but I definitely eat enough.
I was definitely down to do a whole nother round just to be like one of the last people still going, but I did not need any more.
When I was in New York last week, we went to Korean barbecue, and usually you cook for yourself, right? But
Yeah.
when we got our thing, like the guy came to our thing and just cooked for us, which was like it kind of takes away from the experience, but it's also like easier to manage.
Yeah. I mean, at that point, you just go to a normal.
Yeah, right. Just get the food. I don't know. It was
But
fun.
yeah, and then Daniel left at that portion of the trip. But I stayed for an extra couple days and went to San Diego with all the boys.
Nice.
And that was fun. San Diego part of the trip was a lot more chill because obviously the LA portion we're going to AX and we're boom event, boom event, boom event, and all this stuff. And if we're not doing events, we're like walking around Little Tokyo or stuff like that. And San Diego is just like chill, enjoy the weather, check out the sights. I went kayaking one of the days. That was great.
Nice. That's fun.
Yeah, I went canoeing like once a long time ago, but I'd never been kayaking.
Yeah, I think I went kayaking or something when I was like 11 or something. I don't remember anything.
It was fun. There was a funny story because originally Mars and I had a 2-person kayak, but that didn't work for us very well. We tipped the kayak twice, which we are both like pretty experienced kayakers. So it was very weird for us to have tipped the kayak twice. But we came to the conclusion the 2-person kayaks they had were kind of garbo. And also, I am a lot bigger of a person than Mars. So it was such a weight imbalance that we were like, this just isn't working. But so we ended up swimming back to shore and they gave us individual kayaks, and then we caught up with the group fairly quickly, got to do snorkeling at the end with a bunch of the people, and then went back without really any incident. Which it was lucky it was something that happened to us, because if we weren't two people who are both good swimmers and good kayakers, we probably would have not gotten the second chance at that.
Yeah. Obviously, I didn't do any of that. I had my rides were the plane for the first time, which
was it lit or was it terrifying?
I had
His flight
a
there
fight.
sounded pretty chill.
Yeah, the flight there, I pulled like the 5-star like Spirit Airline fucking gotcha pole for plane seat. There was one seat in the entire plane that wasn't filled, and it was the one right to my right. So I had extra room, on my flight
Nice.
there. I had the window seat, obviously, because I paid for that shit. I wasn't gonna fuck with having like the middle or something. So the flight there was pretty chill. I watched the 8 episodes of Monthly Girls Nozaki, which I finished on the way back. So that was cool.
How was it, by the way? I haven't talked to you about this yet, but you know it's one of my favorites and one of Lugia's favorites.
I liked it a lot. Not like not like a personal favorite or anything, but I liked it.
But it was still enjoyable. I mean, that's all I asked.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah. But my flights were pretty painless. I didn't have any big delays. I didn't have someone sitting next to me on my last flight on the way back, which was nice. It's just always good to have all that room.
Yeah.
I did not get to watch an anime on my flights, so because I downloaded all of Tonikawa with season 2 with the plan of watching it, and it was dubbed. And then I was
Nice.
I don't wanna. So instead, on the way there, I just played games on my phone and like chilled and listened to music. On the way back, I read almost the whole first volume of a random series that I got while we were at the bookstore called The Demon Sword Master of Excalibur Academy, which
That is
has
the most generic name I've heard, but yeah.
yes, it is exactly what you expect of it. It does have an anime coming out eventually because it's been confirmed that it'll have an anime.
Nice.
But it was a nice read. It's not breaking any new ground. The main girl in it is potentially one of my favorites that I've read in a while.
58%, yikes.
Yeah. It's like I said, it's not breaking any new ground. I enjoyed the first volume. I'm not quite finished with it yet. There's a lot of weird things it does, and I don't think the MC is particularly compelling, which is a big problem.
It's about what I'd expect from something called the Demon Sword Master of Excalibur Academy.
Yeah.
I think you were asking for it.
I kind of just picked it up at the bookstore expecting it to be some enjoyable trash, and I think it was some enjoyable trash.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
I think it's funny it has the ecchi tag, because I don't think it's been that bad, to be honest. But maybe it gets worse.
Perhaps.
And that was AX.
Yes.
All in all, great time. It's probably the only time I'll be able to drag Daniel to an anime convention, so I'm gonna have to get more creative next time.
You have to now. You have to come to what was that thing I mentioned last time? The Louisville Anime Convention. That's what you gotta do.
I'll have to come to him. That'll be the strategy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not happening.
It was fun though. I think it was also fun whenever you meet people, seeing how similar or different they are to their online personality.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah.
Daniel was about the same. He was just a lot quieter, which I'm not proud.
Yeah.
I think my the only thing that was eventful about my trip was that on Sunday we were supposed to return and there were storms. I don't know, like somewhere in the east or something, flying back from New York. So our thing got delayed, so we had to stay 2 extra nights because the next flight that would actually leave from New York was Tuesday, which is really annoying.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, they don't send out a lot of flights to the cornfields, so I get it.
Well, actually, the problem was it wasn't actually from the connecting place to Lexington that was the issue. Like there were a lot of those flights. It was just New York to a connecting destination like Detroit or Atlanta, which is the annoying part. But,
really?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, no, it was just because of the storms. Like I think
like
probably just
canceled and filled probably.
Yeah, everything on Monday got filled, I guess, or was already filled. I don't know.
You put it that way, it's fair.
Yeah, I mean it was just annoying, but whatever. Can't do anything about it. But yeah, that was it. My trip was good. Probably not as anime related as your guys' thing. I will say though, Kinokuniya, the bookstore that I think I mentioned a few episodes ago. But anyway, Kinokuniya, it's like a big bookstore in several different locations in the U.S. in big cities. I previously went to the one in Chicago.
Yeah.
Was that?
That's where I got the Demon Sword book, by the way.
Okay, yeah, in LA, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember if we went to the one in LA. I feel like I went to the smaller version in Las Vegas for sure.
It was nice. I thought it was funny. Like, it makes sense they would have Japanese light novels there, like, in Japanese, but I
Mhm.
thought it was funny that, like, half the store was not in English, and I was like, I
Yeah, they're like
feel like
actual
there's so
Japanese
much.
books. Like, yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, I was
the
like, I feel like there's so much good shit here that I will not hear of for years,
Mhm.
if ever. I'm like, now I have no way to remedy that.
yeah, the Gochuucast illustration book I got was in Japanese, but it's an illustration book, so it doesn't really matter that much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got an illustration book for my favorite Mega Man game, also.
Yeah. But that was it. I got a ReZero, the first volume light novel. Well, I can say that, but yeah, the first volume of the light novel series. So there's that for me. But yeah, that store is it's really interesting. If you ever, I mean, I assume the other locations are pretty similar, and I didn't notice any difference from like Chicago to New York. But the amount of stuff they have, like in terms of figures, I mean, I guess you guys had AX, so you guys had the vendors there, but like the figures and just like the
There's a lot of figures and a lot of
yeah, a lot of figures. There's a whole section for that. Just a lot of books, like every series you could think of, like novels, manga, yeah, all that stuff. It's a if you're a fan of anime, it's like definitely worth checking out if you're in a big city because
it was
nothing really
fun
compares.
going to the store before AX because I got there about like half day earlier than most other people. So I had like a half day where I was just kind of exploring as people would like come into LA. And so I had been by the bookstore like a few
Mhm.
days before AX. It was full. And then I went by the bookstore on the last day because a few of the guys had not been able to go, including Daniel. And it was so much more empty, which makes sense. But it was kind of fun to just see how much it emptied out in like 3 days.
I also thought like the day before might have been, I guess, because like not everyone to like get in there on the 30th, and then yeah, I guess like some people probably got there a little early to have like a LA vacation sort of.
Mhm.
Like there was people who did what we did, but there was also people who like I flew in on a Thursday/Friday, and there definitely were people I'm sure that flew in on that Saturday instead.
That's crazy.
And
I
just
would
missed the
always
first
go early,
day.
but yeah, that makes sense. I think the only other anime related thing I did in New York, which tangentially related, I guess, was the Nintendo store, which is really cool. They have a lot of Pokemon plushies. I don't
Yeah,
know if its collection is like that big necessarily, but it's like from all the different Nintendo like games and stuff like that. I mean, if you're a fan
I
of
have
those, like
been to
Zelda,
the
Mario,
Nintendo
all that
store in
stuff.
New York, and it's pretty nice.
Yeah, yeah, it's cool. In the Rockefeller
There's
Center.
like
So,
a there's like a novelty a lot of times to go into stuff like that,
mhm.
where it's like the selection is not always the craziest, and you're not always going to even find something that you particularly care about. But it's like having that seal of like officialness to it
Yeah.
feels like it adds to the experience.
No, I mean there are definitely like the one I have. So you can find a picture, but like the freaking banana peel from Mario Kart, like that's just like a random thing like you wouldn't think of like a plushie for. Um, and then they had like the Donkey Kong barrel or whatever the barrel, Yoshi egg, different colored Yoshis. Yeah, just a bunch of different stuff from all the different things, and then they had like games. Like you could play like different Wii and not Wii. What did I say? Wii. Different Switch games, and things like that at the store. So it was pretty cool. Yeah, that's the only other anime related thing I did. So, if you're in New York, it's worth checking out. There was not much of a line. If you go to weird time, it's pretty good. So,
Yeah, I think the final thing I have to say on the convention side of things is I have to extend the biggest fuck you to PK,
whoa,
Mars, and Resh for the last day, because I think the first 3 days it was relatively quiet at nighttime when you're bedtime. The day my bitch ass has to get up at 4 a.m. so I can get an Uber to the airport. They had they put on the Quince movie loud as fuck, and they were
oh no,
talking throughout the night. Well, not
nice.
like throughout the night.
That did happen.
I
In
was
my defense, I went to bed at like midnight right after Quinn's. They stayed up an extra 2 hours. So I'm not saying I don't deserve
I tried going to sleep at like 10, so you're still
I know. That's
part
what I'm
of
saying.
this.
I'm not saying I don't deserve some of it. I'm just saying I went to bed next, and they stayed up and played more video games.
I hate all of you for that. It was actually like such a miserable night. I woke up multiple times throughout the night in general, and then had to get up at 4 a.m. The Uber ride was fine. Shout out Manuel for the
Classic Manuel. That's
but
my guy.
he got me to the airport. He knew what he was doing. He's a great driver. Didn't talk to me at all. 5 stars. But
On that note, Quint's movie was a good watch.
yeah, I still haven't seen it, and because I slept through it. I slept.
Yeah.
I was awake for like 15 minutes of it probably. Then I finally got to sleep. Then I woke up halfway through, went back to sleep, woke up at the end, went back to sleep. Woke up at like 1 a.m., went back to sleep, woke up at 2 a.m., went back to sleep, woke up at 4 a.m. So it was a rough night, which made the plane ride a little more rough as well. But it was fine. Because like for the first like a little bit, like while I was waiting in the airport, it didn't really hit me. I was just playing Soda Dungeon 2 on my phone. But then like during the plane ride, like probably
You
like an hour in, it started the drowsiness started hitting. I'm like, oh fuck. Those motherfuckers did not let me get any decent sleep, which is ironic because I only got to watch one episode of it, but I watched the first episode of Sleepy Princess and the Demon Castle.
And he was sleepy.
I was sleepy watching it. But yeah, speaking of anime, the new season has started, which I got to watch a few things at in the hotel during day 2 of AX, where I didn't really do anything. Something that you just watched like right before this. There's a couple episodes of the Rise of Altair, whatever the fuck, Atelier.
Yep. I have only seen episode 1. Like literally right before the podcast, we watched episode 1, and then I waited for 5 minutes, got a water, that type of stuff, and then we started the podcast call.
Yeah, it's not like anything crazy, but I mean we were promised thighs and we got thighs. That's all I have to say about that. The director he knew the assignment.
I actually really liked it. I think the problem, not necessarily a problem, but the fucking Ryza is all about just like adventure and stuff like that. And I didn't know anything about the character, but I love adventure character and stuff like that. Like her personality just meshes with me. And so it's just kind of like a fuck moment where it's like I'm gonna have to play the games probably eventually, even though I'm terrible at playing games.
I don't think those games are hard though.
No,
I'm terrible as in like completing them. Sure,
I'm terrible at getting to games, similar to how I'm terrible at finishing anime, right?
Okay, gotcha. I thought you meant like you just like not be able to complete the game. I was like, it's not that hard. It's not Dark Souls.
I liked episode 1 a lot. It was very good, but also yes, those things are lethal weapons.
Those things. Oh my god.
I hope to one day be as strong as her fucking thigh highs not ripping.
Dude, Jesus Christ! I mean, they know what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing.
They found their audience.
Yeah, I mean, from the PV, I could tell that they were gonna focus on some things, but man, I mean, I'm not like too into it. I mean, I've generally liked what I watched, not like an insane amount or anything, but even if I didn't like what was going on, I would have something to look forward to every week. I also watched.
For me, I really like the characters. So there's your thighs for you, Spat. So you know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but I watched. I think it was the first episode. Oh, I watched Mushoku Tensei episode 0 came out. It was good. Not too much to say there. I mean, season 2. I don't want to spoil anything, but
yeah,
it's more Mushoku.
I am in a weird place with Mushoku because this is a group watch for me, but the people I group watch with is Mars, who works third shift, and a European friend. So
Yikes.
we're kind of coping, trying to like watch anything together in terms of schedule. So I don't know when I'll be able to get Mushoku done.
Yeah, I'm watching. I am doing a group watch this season, but it's with people that I know are going to be free whenever the fuck every week. But
Yeah.
the vending machine isekai. To watch a couple episodes of vending machine isekai. It's as fucking stupid as I wanted it to be. So
I haven't
that's
watched anything yet, but Daniel saying that's as stupid as he wanted it to be makes me feel like I'm gonna like it in the same way I like in another world with my smartphone. Not because it's good or has a good plot, but because the gags are funny enough that I'm just like, you know what, fuck it, I'm in.
it's like I like that it is it doesn't well, what's the right way to put this? It's not like one of those things, like, like reincarnated as a sword. That motherfucker was like flying around on his own, doing all that shit. It's not like that. This dude cannot move on his own. He is like lodged into place unless someone else moves him. And I think playing to the strengths of the fact that this dude is a fucking vending machine is what it's done pretty well so far in the first couple episodes, and just using that absurdity to just have fun.
That's like a hilarious sentence to think about having been said like 3 years ago before we knew this existed. Playing to the strengths of this dude being a vending machine.
Yeah, but I mean, that's like the only way I can think to put it.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch it. I think I'm watching it tomorrow, aka the day that this episode should be airing. But we'll see if that's actually what happens. I did watch today. I'll get this one out of the way. The Girl Who Forgot Her Glasses
Yeah,
anime.
I was gonna mention that one as well.
We've talked about how
what's the actual name?
The girl I like forgot her glasses.
Oh, okay.
It's basically the name, but I forgot two important words.
I want to say I put the PV in here before, but I can't remember. Oh yeah, I did. It's,
this
the camera one.
We've talked about it. We've talked about it because we talked
about
about
I remember now.
Rotoscope walking.
Yeah. No, I remember.
This thing is like beautifully animated. Almost to a fault.
It is to a fault. It's too much.
Sometimes it like pops off at the weirdest things.
It's too much for a fluff romance, dude.
Yes. So I enjoyed it, and I think it is animated beautifully. It's a little much, and I don't like the MC that much. I think the MC is like too comically awkward boy for me. Like they try and do too much. Like he practically fucking comes in his pants over the fact that she accidentally wore his shoes instead of her shoes at one point, and I'm just like, chill, brother.
I feel like one of the issues here is that like the chapters at the start of the manga are not very long. Like eventually they get to like the normal length, but I feel like they're trying to stretch things a little bit because it's anime, and it makes it a bit more awkward.
Wrong things. I fully agree with this take. But it's as far as someone who's just watched the anime, knows nothing about the source material, he's like too much of this like overly obsessed with her in a weird way character.
Yeah, I don't remember when that changes. Have fun.
But even so, I liked it. He's just like too much for me. That's all it is. Like she's fun. I like that because after like the second time they have her lose her glasses for it. At the end of the first, I guess this is a spoiler if anyone cares. It's not really a plot thing. At the end of the first episode, for like the third time, she shows up with no glasses on and like is looking at him like she has no glasses, and I'm like, she forgot her glasses again. How do you forget them so much? And then she says in a conversation with other characters after like a little awkward thing that happens between them, she goes, "I'm trying on contacts today."
Nice.
And I was like, that's kind of funny that we had this whole gag the first episode, and then he has this moment where he's like, "At least she can't see me right now," and then she's like, "I'm wearing contacts."
Oh my god.
I'm like, okay, at least we're gonna play around with the gag some.
Is she gonna wear them for the rest of the season?
No, fuck no, dude.
No. Episode 2 did some more of that, where it was like, instead of her forgetting her glasses, at one point she was like, I broke them. And they're at least making more excuses for it other than just she's an airhead. Which she is.
Yeah. I think the voice actress does a very good job at, like, giving charm to her character, being a
I agree.
goober.
For as much as I didn't care or buy into the MC, I really liked her character a lot and the way that it was, like, done.
Yeah. But, yeah, Gohan's going a little too hard.
I was gonna say just a tiny bit. Honestly, kind of a lot of a bit.
Yeah. I think it was more fun in the second episode, but, the
It is
first
a little
episode,
fun.
for, like, literally the entire, like, for probably 10 minutes, they're just going stupid for just no reason.
It was a little fun for once to see something truly over animated instead of under animated.
It's still like overwhelmingly like. I mean,
It's like
if you have the time, watch like the first 5 minutes of episode 1, you'll understand.
Yeah. There are times where it is like overwhelmingly too much. But yeah,
Just because they're just fucking with the camera too much is like the main thing. I feel so bad for the animators who have to like work with that.
yeah, exactly.
It's not gonna have any
Like,
production
I feel
issues
like it was
because
so much.
all the episodes are done apparently. So it's
Yeah.
it'll be consistent.
I feel like it was so much work for everyone to just be like, yeah, I don't really fuck with this, and I feel kind of bad for that.
It's very technically impressive, I think. Like, I see people say, like, oh, this looks like shit, my eyes are bleeding. I'm like, I don't think it's bad, I just think it's, like, unnecessary, especially in this context. Like, just save, like, the crazy shit for the moments that matter, or, like, make it more, use, like, more subtle camera work, rather than, like, going stupid with it. But, speaking of going stupid, the second season of Jujutsu Kaisen's out, and it's been, they changed the art style up a little bit. I don't know what like the technical advantages are of what they've changed, but I think they can play around with some things a bit more, and the animations look really good so far. So
Yeah,
I
so
think they
heard
paid more attention to like the backgrounds, and they simplified character designs.
I've heard about the change, but I haven't really seen anything for it yet. I like it also because this is a how would I put it? This is kind of like a prequel season, I guess is the best way I could describe
Well, it
it.
would like a prequel 5 episodes rather than like prequel season.
Yeah, it would be the whole season. Which also makes me wonder if the art change is going to be just for this arc.
It's the entire thing, I'm pretty sure.
I agree. It probably should be the entire thing. It's just an interesting thought.
But yeah, I mean, just more Jujutsu Kaisen, not too much to say on that.
Jujutsu Kaisen is Jujutsu Kaisen, whether you like it or hate it. I know we have at least one of both of those people listening, so.
I guess speaking of, prequel sequel things, Horimiya Peace is out. And it's just more Horimiya, like, once again.
It just seems like it's a lot of more of the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's
this season's like a lot of sequels and stuff, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of sequels in this season, yeah.
Isn't like one of the things with this Horimiya season though that it's like all of the, it's not filler content, but like all of the content that feels like filler, in terms of like the arc of the story.
I mean,
at least that's what it's always
just
sounded like from the way you guys describe it to me.
It's just like little things that probably would have been nice to have in the first. Like if you really, well, I was gonna say you could use it as like a. Like, you could probably make some complicated watch order. I mean, you probably could, but you'd have to, like, stop mid-episode, go watch something else to, like, fix that. Because they're not, like... There's kind of, like, putting random stories together from the manga and putting them into episodes, and not really having, like, any chronological order to it.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't, like... You can't pull a weird watch order thing with it, but... I mean, I don't know. It's just more content that I think would have been valuable to have in the, like before it ended, but the first season, skipped to the end.
Yeah, like the first season skipped all of this, so now we're getting it again. That's fair.
Yeah. And then the last season 2, okay, There are two. There are three. There are four more. I
Or
haven't.
10.
I haven't watched.
I'm not watching any of these. I don't think.
I
so.
haven't
vending
watched.
machine?
No, I haven't watched the first episode of. It's the third season of Devil's Part Timer. I'm not really excited for that one, but the first episode's out. I still have to watch it. Rent a Girlfriend season 3's out. I'm watching
What's
that
your favorite?
in as fast as speed as possible. And then let's see. Mononogatari second season. I haven't watched any. There's 2 episodes out of that. I haven't watched any of it. I'm not looking forward to that either. And then there is Spy Classroom second season, which I've been on record saying as I like it, even if everyone else hates it.
Which is fair. I still never even tried it, so I can't say too much.
I think you'd find enjoyment in it, but I also would rather you just finish things.
Watch something else.
Just
Yeah.
fucking finish your shit out you're watching, yeah.
Yeah,
But-
I definitely don't have 16 anime this season I'm watching either.
16. What the heck?
We'll see which of those make it, which don't. I mean, at this point, it's looking like Bashoku won't make it because of scheduling purposes. Anyway, to kind of, I guess, it's not a sequel per se, but there's a new Bandori out this season. They hot dropped like 3 episodes immediately of it. It's good. It's just more Bandori content. It follows a new group that was recently introduced to the series that at least us English fans know basically nothing of. So I'm kind of meeting a lot of these characters for the first time. The only weird thing about it is a lot of the Bandori animation is very like bright and happy, right? And this one has more of like this dull, almost depressing feeling to it. And so it makes me feel like it's worse. But then when I look at it, I'm like, it's not really worse. It's just like a different vibe.
Yeah.
But
Is
that's
it like
the-
what's the how do I word this? Like the theme of the band? Is it just like do they have like a style or something? Or like in terms of like their art,
Like
I guess? Because like I feel like all the other
or-
Bandori bands have like I don't know,
So
they have
one of the
iconic styles.
problems to answer that question is this is like the origin story of the band, right?
Okay. So they're
So
not
like 4
complete.
episodes
They're
are
not like
out and they are
yeah.
not a group currently.
Oh,
Um,
okay. That makes sense.
It more or less. They're like all kind of together. They like all kind of know each other at this point. But yeah, calling them a group would not be exactly true. That's probably how I would say. It's more of like they are starting to form and find a lot of that identity. And it's like from their music, they have a very different vibe to a lot of the other bands. So musically, I think it works. But it's just I feel like answering a question from that just by being like, yeah, they just have like a different style of music as the other groups is not quite genuine. And
Makes
it's
sense.
other than that, the only other I guess quote sequel I'm watching this season is the Yohane Sunshine Native Isekai, which I have not gotten a chance to watch yet. Should also be a tomorrow thing. But it's just all the Love Live Sunshine girls in Isekai world. Not much more to say about that. Probably going to be based.
Yeah. In terms of non-sequels that I've got that I haven't mentioned yet, Zom 100 had a very good premiere.
I loved the first episode of Zom 100. I didn't really know what I was signing up for. That was one of the Netflix things. Netflix is doing a live adaptation of Zom 100, and during that panel, they were talking about it, and that was like my first introduction to the plot of Zom 100. But anyway,
I wasn't like.
I didn't really know anything.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I didn't really know anything about what I was signing up for here, and I guess I didn't expect the first episode to have spent so much time. And I think it was done really well, like developing this character, the main character, in one episode of the anime. I like really feel for this main character more than a lot of other shows. I think that's like really well done, at least for me. That it got me one to empathize for him, but two also like care so much about him in just the first episode.
Yeah, I wasn't like as crazy about it as like a lot of other people, but I definitely enjoyed it. It was also like extremely well animated. I guess like a funny fun fact about the first episode is the company that he was working for. They made the they made the logo. So this is like a new studio technically, called Bug Films, and or is it Bug Films, and they came from Studio LLM, which did Summertime Render, Komi. They do Pokemon stuff, and the company that the dude was working for in the episode, they modeled the logo after the LLM logo because this studio like originated from there. So
Oh, they do the Villainous anime this season too. Yeah, they do all the Pokemon stuff. They're doing Faraway Paladin season 2 because I assume they did season 1. That was a weird order to say that sentence.
yeah, but a very talented team working on this.
Yeah, it looked really good. I really liked the use of color in the episode, which was obviously very intentional.
Yeah, it was just directed very well.
Yes. Other things I just mentioned the Villainous anime this season, the last boss queen Villainous words that you always hear in Villainous anime. The first two episodes were really good. I think in terms of, and I watch a lot of the Villainous anime because somehow that's become part of my identity. I don't really know how that happened, but I guess we're here now. This might be my second favorite start to one of these Villainous animes since say Hamifura, is that the shorthand?
Yeah.
The my next life all routes lead to doom or whatever. With Katarina. This might be after that. This might be my favorite first couple episodes to a Villainous, which, given that I've watched a good few of them, pretty high praises. But I liked it a lot.
Feels like such a weird subgenre to like take an hold.
It's
like there's more than you'd think.
Yeah. Well, Villainous, the whole Villainous subgenre is also very popular in like Korean material. I think that's like the whole, because like Ray Liana started off as a manhwa, so and it mainly is. I say started off as if that's not its main form of release, but yeah. So it kind of was just this random fad. It feels like that happened somewhat recently, and now they're all getting adapted because they are all very popular. Is the other thing, but
yeah,
it's very good. I think it's definitely, of a lot of the stuff I've watched so far, it's probably one of my favorites.
Yeah. Another couple things I'll speed run past so I can get to the things that I actually like. So there's Hero Classroom, which it's a light novel, but I read like the manga version of it a little while ago. It's worse than I remember.
I'm gonna be watching episode 1 tonight, maybe. Probably tomorrow. Did you read this?
The manga version I've read a little bit.
I see.
Yeah, but I mean, worse than I remember. It'll be a watch of all time for sure.
Good to know.
And then there's the Dreaming Boys Realist, which is a goofy romance. Which I don't even know how to like describe. Basically, this dude is like overly obsessed with this girl, but then one day, he just kind of like realizes like, yo, why am I just fucking weird? What am I even doing here? And then,
he like has post-nut clarity.
Yeah, it's like post-nut clarity. Like no, this is we need to like not be doing this. And then it's just stuff from there. I'll see how it progresses. But like the one girl he was being annoying to got like lightly attached to him, and it's like the kind of tsundere, I guess, that he's not. I don't know how to describe it. It's a goofy show that I'm sure is gonna probably be dog shit by the end of it, but I'm watching it. But the last few things I have here that I generally liked, I'll go in like ascending order, I guess. Pastor Lawrence and Saint Cecilia is cute. It's the same artist as it did art for Angel Next Door. I think just the first volume, but so I mean that's like the original art for the most part, but it's cute. It's just fluff in like a goofy fantasy setting. But yeah, I mean it'll just be the fluff for the season that isn't overly animated. And then I watched the first episode of Helk, which the animation's not like insane or anything, but it has like good enough art direction to like in like shot composition to like make up for it. It does what it needs to do well. I enjoyed it a fair bit. I wouldn't say it's like insane or anything, but we'll we'll see. It's 24 episodes, so I guess
It's also
I'll be sticking with it for a while.
time.
And then the last thing I want to talk about, which is current Discord profile picture. I've been really enjoying Reign of the Seven Spellblades, which second episode just came out today. Slapper opening.
Which is interesting because you, me, and Resh have all watched this, and I think I am the one who is the most like meh on it. Like I enjoyed it. How do I describe it? I think I'm just kind of in a wait and see mode, I guess is how I would say, with me through the first 2 episodes. Like I've liked the characters, but I want to see more before I feel really bought into the series.
I think what it's done so far for me is it's doing a lot of like it's doing what most fantasies don't, where it's not really like hand holding you through the world, I guess, for the most part. Like they'll just like the characters aren't like the things in their world are natural to them, unlike a lot of fantasy where they'll give like stupid explanations because they need to. But this one will like things will be obvious enough that like if you have a brain cell functioning, that you should be able to figure it out on your own. Yeah. Like something simple in like today's episode, like where the one character got up late because I don't know even how to describe the creature, but like think of like bed bugs, but for your clock. Yeah. They just fuck with your alarm clock because they're assholes, I guess.
Yeah. And they just like brush it off and are like, "Oh, clock fairies are out," and then it just keeps going.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I didn't know they had those, like, these things here, and they don't be like, oh yeah, those things that mess with your alarm clock or whatever. It's just implied that they, because like they like showed it quick in like the previous episode, but they didn't like say anything about them. It's just an implied thing, like yeah, they fuck with your clock. You know that they don't have to like over-explain it or anything.
I do agree with this. I think the two things I still want, I want a better understanding, obviously, of how their magic works. Maybe understanding's not the right word.
Yeah, apparently,
better display.
It did skip a prologue, which I actually ordered like I was looking for a new novel series to get, and I liked the first episode a lot, and so the novel was it was on sale, so I got like the bundle version. So I
definitely feel like I would read this if I get through the first season, and it's really like, because for me at this point, I could see it being something I really like if it's done well, or really don't care about if it's done badly. But I definitely feel like I would be into reading this. Yeah. Just off of the first 2 episodes.
I think another thing I liked as well is kind of, I don't know if dynamic is technically the right word. I guess just the general interactions between our main characters. Because like we have like the main dude, and then one of like the blonde one with like the goofy twirls in her hair, where like they have like family. They like generally know what's going on, and I like that they aren't like they're kind of like the guided force for like in that end of today's episode where they went with Homeboy to go get his shit because they knew like some fuck shit could happen. Yeah. And that's like they don't like say anything like, oh, like you're just like, yeah, like they have a brother here, like they have their family history, like yeah, they just know, they're supposed to know what's going on. I like that aspect of things where it's a lot of just you should be able to figure it the fuck out.
I do wish, and obviously this is what's going to happen. You're 2 episodes into an anime that essentially has 6 main characters. because that's kind of been the way it's been addressing it so far, where it's obviously the black-haired guy and the katana girl are like the mains, but the other four still have like a good amount of focus, and clearly all six are going to be very pivotal to the story. I wish I felt like I had more of each character is the other thing so far.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, we're 2 episodes in,
But
so
we're 2 episodes in. So that's one of the other reasons why I'm like kind of wait and see, because I'm like I've liked it so far. I want to know more about these characters before I really feel committed.
yeah, I mean, it's going to be 15 episodes, which is kind of like a weird number, but I mean,
Yeah.
I guess they have somewhere they want to end.
I do really like the main character being kind of this like smart schemer type of thing, but also not over the top edgy.
Yeah, he's not like edgy, but he's not like I don't know. He's not like over. He's like a normal person, I guess. Especially for someone who would have like knowledge of like what's going on at this school.
He reminds me a little bit of the main character from Grimgar. They're not too similar in terms of personality, but in terms of like how it feels like they sit in the dynamic of their group. He reminds me a lot of him.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to learn. Even though they have like had a fair amount of focus, like him and Katana Girl definitely have like a lot more to share, I guess, in terms of like personal history.
Yeah. I do also like the fact that at least in terms of those two, there's a lot of history there that's being established for us without giving us everything yet. In the same way that you were saying you liked not being spoon-fed everything, I like the fact that I am getting hinted a lot at those two characters, like backgrounds and stuff like that, without just telling me.
Yeah.
Did that what was it called? That pastry isekai thing?
I think it had like 2 episodes come out actually.
Okay. What was it called again?
It was like quite literally. I feel like it was definitely like pastry something, but I don't remember.
I'll find it, but yeah.
Okay, it was
I've
not
been watching
because
Haikyuu, so I'm trying to catch up with that. What is this thing called? Sweet Reincarnation Fantasy?
yes, Sweet Reincarnation. That one, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It was
That's
the main
one I
character's
watched.
name was like pastry or some shit. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it is technically, yeah. It's the weird German names or whatever. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. No. Yeah. Yeah, that's the one I was. I think I kind of want to watch for this season. So, I mean, I like pastry, so it's good.
Goofy choice, but
it will be fun for you to have something to talk about
that we don't.
Either of us have watched.
Yeah, that's true because this is the one you guys aren't watching. Yeah, I mean, I'm not expecting it to be amazing, but just the premise interests me. So I'll probably watch the first couple episodes this week. What does it come out on Tuesday? So I'll have 3. Okay, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, that'll be something to mention. I mean, I'm not having very high hopes for it, but we'll see.
I'm sure it'll be like mid but watchable.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah, just the typical Goofy. Maybe you'll learn how to cook some stuff while you're watching it.
Yeah, maybe. It's like was that show Dumbbell? Whatever. They teach you a lot about. That was like one of my first anime. Yeah.
They definitely teach you a lot about lifting. True.
Yeah, actually.
Definitely learn a lot of good form advice and stuff like that. Anyway.
Okay, they actually do teach you some stuff about like the science behind it. Like, unironically, for like a noob like who doesn't know anything, they actually do have like some information in like most of the episodes. So, I mean,
it
does have it. Yeah.
I think that's pretty much the only other thing I'm maybe watching this season is the Liar Liar anime, but I haven't decided yet because
I looked at like the description of it. I'm like, I can like feel the trash emanating from this. I don't know.
Feel the trash.
It has good reviews though. That's my biggest problem is that it has like generally good reviews, and so I'm like, how bad can it be? But it also at the same time just sounds like
discount eminence.
No game. Oh, I was gonna say alternate no game no life, but
No
Discount
game, no
Eminence.
life, but this guy
That'd be fair.
is like a mix between the two. No game, no eminence.
That's fair. I'll give you that. So maybe I'll watch that. Maybe I won't. Who knows? It's definitely on my list after a bunch of other stuff that we've named here because I was on vacation when most of these came out, and I've yet to have a chance to watch a lot of them.
Yeah. I was on vacation for longer than expected.
That's my excuse for this week, and maybe next week, and then a few weeks from now when I'm still behind on half my shows.
Oh, okay.
that's
So
when I have
this is an excuse that extends from like
yeah.
1 week to
It
the
gives
next.
me
Okay, gotcha.
it gives me like a week or two of being able to be like, I'm not behind because I don't watch the shows I want to watch. I'm just behind because I was on vacation.
Okay, understandable. You got that going for you for an excuse that I've never heard of one that lasts that long, but there you go.
I think 2 weeks is fair. I get this week because this is the first full week I'm back.
Yeah, I've had to catch
I
up
got
with the
back
work
like 5 days ago.
stuff, so
And I get next week because it's a lot to catch up on.
yeah,
And then after that, I no longer get the excuse.
gotcha. Okay, fair enough.
Group watches will be the death of me for Mashoku.
Yeah, I can't do group watches on a like I can't. You do a lot of them, which I mean, they help me watch things. Like genuinely, like if I sit down in a group, there's a much greater chance that I will be able to get through something than if I like look at it and like, man, do I really want to watch this right now? But
The problem is Mashoku, in particular, was kind of a group watch that happened by accident. And then we just like kept watching it, right? Because we just wanted an anime for us all to watch together when we had time. And now we no longer have time. But like we liked the first season of Mashoku, so it's like I want to continue it, obviously, but also we all watched it as a group, so I need to somehow get the group back together.
yeah, I have like a 2 episode no bullshit policy. Like if we're done like 2 weeks in and nothing, like that's what I did with y'all in Shadow's house. And I like started to get spoiled. I will absolutely not wait for if it takes too long. But yeah, I mean,
It's a good policy. No bullshit.
yeah, I mean, I just don't want to get too far behind, and I'm going to
Yeah,
get
fair
spoiled.
enough, fair
I'm
enough.
guaranteed going to get spoiled on stuff.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
I guess that's not true. I don't know how you have so many spoiler problems because I have none, and then I was like, I guess I only use my Twitter for sports, so
it's
like,
not even just it's Instagram as well, and it's like they just fucking yoink my data, and they're like, oh yes, he's watching all of this right now. Let's give him screenshots from this. I have not like consumed anything Classroom of the Elite related in so long, and I still get spoilers like just randomly on like Instagram and Twitter both. I'm like, what the fuck? There's no reason that I should have any of these. It'll just like show me latest light novel stuff. I'm like, well, looking a little into the future here.
Gotta start following different Twitter accounts.
Oshinoko's anime has like boosted the manga to the point where like we're getting leaks like super early, and it's so fucking annoying trying to avoid all that shit. Especially with what's happening right now in the manga, no spoilers, but like, you know, we're at a goofy time when people are being annoying as fuck about it online, and it's like it's funny for a little bit, but I'm like getting spoiled like every week. I've muted so many different accounts just trying to avoid all of it. But yeah, I think we'll end that here episode right now. It's been a while since I've done the intro, and I always fuck it up in general, so I wonder if I can get through it this
Close
time.
to 69, so you gotta keep an eye out for that.
Yes. We'll have to work out the details of episode 69. But for right now, we'll work out the details of this outro. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed, you should subscribe or follow whatever the fuck platform you're on, YouTube audio only. If you're on the YouTube side of things and you'd like to listen to the audio only, you can go down to the link below. It should take you to our page and should have the links to the things that we're on. Is the Order an Anime Podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, etc. If you're on the audio only side of things and you'd like to go and look at the YouTube, maybe see our goofy visual that we might sometimes have other visuals as well. But you can just go to Is the Order an Anime Podcast on YouTube. We're the only one. You can't possibly miss it. But we hope to see you in another episode. Saturday, 3 p.m. EST, every single week without fail, except for when we do. Thank you and goodbye.